YouTube, what is going on? It is your man. It's comments. Does ASMR. And today, a video I haven't done in a very long time. Unpopular opinions. So I was looking for popular and unpopular opinions, but I've only stumbled across unpopular opinions. So we're just gonna go through this. This is anime and manga edition. So we're gonna go through, see what people are talking about, how they feel, see if we agree, disagree, conversate. I'll give my thoughts. You in the comments give your thoughts back, and we'll go from there. But sit back, grab some snacks, and let's go. So first one from Ninth the Astonishing Member. I think that's the name, but it says, I prefer dubs over subs, always have. I actively watch both, so I'm not hating on subs, but if I have an option, I'm going to pick dubs every time. Not a bad opinion. I can't stand isekais. I'm sure I just haven't found the right one yet, but it's one I'm not. Yes. So like I said before, my only favorite isekais literally are, I like Cautious Hero, I like ReZero, and I like Konosuba. Any other ones I'm kind of not that much of a fan of. At the time, SAO for season 1 was a really good isekai as well, but these things are just not great if I'm being honest. There's so many of them and they're easy to get out. So all they do is they just continuously just keep pumping them out, and it just waters it down, and they don't have any staying power. JoJo Part 3 is a very hit or miss to me. I love the characters, but I dropped it and picked it back up an embarrassing amount of times. Part 3 is very, yes, and I've said this before, the more that Part 3 sits on me, I feel like when it got to the end with Dio, it was very underwhelming. I feel like the fight was amazing, but the lead up to it was probably even better than the actual fight. The fight was great though, don't get me wrong, but there was a lot of in-between parts of characters that literally like, they shouldn't have been fighting, that really shouldn't have took that long. But Part 3, like, was gas. Don't get me wrong, the band and everybody being together was cool, but Part 3 definitely had some low lights for sure. So I can't agree with that. It says the illustration. So next is, I dislike the dumb MC dress that Goku popularized. I can agree. It doesn't make sense how for MC to be kind of just not great in one avenue but be great in another one. I'm not against the idea though, but I understand where they're coming from. Just like intelligence not being as strong suit, but battle IQ being it kind of a hit or miss. Most shonen battle manga overstay their welcome by dragging out their plots. A lot more structured seasonal approach would be better. I agree. Yeah, like there's no need to drag it out in the shonen. A lot of them do that. I think it's just to like have that actual part coming back and forth between like the manga chapters, waiting for another chapter to come out and just dragging. I'm not a fan of it if I'm being honest, but it just seems like something that they're always gonna do. So it's just something that we just have to get used to at this part. If I'm being completely honest, you just gotta. I don't mind the Melon Saga and Beastars. Never watched Beastars, so I can't vouch for that. Naruto's team 7 will work better separated together. Yes, I think that team was so gifted that they could be so much better separately. Them being together just makes them overpowered, but they do nerf each other being together. But yeah, being separate, I think all of them go out on their own. Kakashi, Sakura, Naruto, Sasuke, all of them are great on their own, and they beat a lot of people on their own. I know a lot of people like to clown Sakura, but Sakura 1v1ing a lot of people, bro. She's cooking them. Bleach would have been better off as an anthology like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I don't really know about that one. anime over the manga. I said it had a more interesting take on who killed his parents and what homoglobin are. Give or take. It really all depends, if I'm being honest with you. I've read the manga, watched a little bit of the 2003 version, so it really all depends on you. I can see why some people may feel that. So I'm not against that. Boruto has a better time skip than Naruto. Can't vouch for it. I have not watched enough of the time skip to be able to say that, if I'm being honest. The worst US adaptation is Netflix Death Note. Dragon Ball Evolution and Cowboy Bebop have more redeemable factors that require less fixes. Yeah, okay, that's fair. I fell off Shonen Battle manga because they felt geared to my 12-year-old self and weren't flexible enough to appeal to my older self. They are better than super comics and characters. Yeah, so I agree with the first part. Like I've said this many times, once you get past a certain age for shonen, it just doesn't do it for you anymore. It's not geared towards you, it's geared to for the younger audience, like my 11-year-old nephew and everything like that. The shows that we grew up on, we can watch them and be thankful for, but it's just some of it is just not geared towards us. So it's very understandable. So I'm not disagreeing with that. I'll totally get what they're saying. I feel like I may have read some of these before, but we're gonna go through them again. Hopefully I haven't. If I have, I apologize. But it says Itachi is the worst character in Naruto by a freaking country mile. I disagree. No, he's not the worst character by a country mile. Itachi, I think for the height that he gets, definitely is a good character. Could there be less of him or more of him at times? Yes, depending on how you feel. But being a worst character, to say that is kind of crazy because we already don't get that much of him. So what about him is worse? I would love for them to like go in depth and talk about that and say what's worse about him. Nezuko from Demon Slayer is more of a plot device than she's a character vehicle. I've said this before, Nezuko is just there for aesthetic reasons. She just really adds to Tanjiro's actual desire and the story plot to be able to turn his sister back and defeat Mozan. She has her pivotal parts, yes. But a lot of it is just kind of Nezuko just being there. She's just moral support, so nothing wrong with that. It works, it works. I don't think I'll ever read JoJo. The art style just isn't appealing to me. It's not bad, it's just not my cup of tea. Whenever the plot is described, I'm not intrigued. Understandable. At least this person is honest and they gave JoJo a try, or even tried to even immerse themselves in it. A lot of people like just will talk down or just give JoJo this bad rap without even giving it a chance to see if it'll grow on them. Them saying that JoJo is just not for them, but it is what it is type thing. It's cool. That's fair assessment, if I'm being completely honest with you. So I'm not mad at that. A lot of people just shit on JoJo and don't even give it a chance, and it's like, bro, you don't even know what you're getting yourself into, or even judging yourself on. Like, give it a fair assessment at the very least. Like, just think about that. Best parts of Boruto are the slice of life stuff with the whole cast. I agree. From what I've seen, I've not finished all of it, but what I've seen, yes, after resolving his issue with Naruto being the Hokage, Boruto got kind of boring in this as a character, in the time scales only made him more dull, and Naruto jumping through hoops showed cool and strong. He is now he's basically a completely different character. Yes, that was one of the things that I took from Boruto as well. Boruto's drive and desire to figure out who he is and prove to his dad and everything was the reason why I was driven to it at first. It made sense because Boruto was breaking into his own identity. Now I feel like Boruto has just captured this image of a rogue ninja that maybe kind of is more on Sasuke's path. I get where they were going. I was gonna say Sakura, but literally, Sasuke's daughter is more of Naruto's path, and Boruto is more of Sasuke's path. Sakura. So it's just like, man. I thought the original ending for My Hero Academia was fine, though the new bonus chapter does not add a lot to improve upon it. Yeah, very sad story. I don't people were understanding or trying to figure out exactly what they were trying to get out of this, if I'm being honest. This kind of just brings me back to Attack on Titan. What did you expect with these series? My Hero was never a glorious, holy series. The message was always kind of just, it is what it is. Deku wanted to become what he became it, and the sacrifice that he made through his body and everything leading up to that point is just what it was. You seeing Shigaraki go one path, you're seeing Deku go one path. You just knew at some point they were gonna clash, and it was just gonna happen. So you can't get upset with that. I think you just love the story for what it is. I like the live action Bleach movie and wish that I had got a sequel. I've never watched a live action Bleach movie. Side note, for me personally, I've never been a fan of live action movies, if I'm being completely honest. Especially live action anime movies. I've just never been a fan. I think anime, for what it is, and it being in this cartoon form, animated form, is great. I don't want to see a live action of anything. I just don't think it could be replicated in the way that the show brings it for me personally. That's just me, but I just don't like those. I like the original Hellsing anime better than the most accurate follow-up. I agree as well. I think the pacing of the ultimate Hellsing, of it just trying to break it up into parts and try to keep you updated, is cool, but I don't like how that went. I like the original. Each episode, if you're gonna watch it, catch up at your own pace and do everything that you need to possibly do. I like that premise of the show. I don't like the actual follow-up of all the other weird stuff. I didn't like that, how it was just broken up into that type of way. Just wasn't a fan for me personally. Not exactly anywhere close to being unpopular opinion in my home country, but I'll probably qualify as a borderline one in American or English speaking board like this one. But Doraemon and Food series are easily the best anime in all of existence. I wouldn't agree with that. I wouldn't disagree with that. I mean, just because you gotta think about those shows and how long they've been running and the impact that they've had in like Japan and everything like that. Every time you look up any videos of anything of traveling, or you going to any like anime pop-up shops or whatever else, Doraemon and just like Fujo, just any stuff like that, it's just literally like, it's front and center. It's a staple of it. It's just how it is. So I wouldn't disagree with that. I would love to go over and travel when I do and give my input on it then and see how much of a factor it is. But every video I've watched and everything, I've seen something of people buying something. It's literally on bags. It's everywhere. It's something you can't escape. Mangas, manhwas, and comics are basically the same thing. Picture stories, button up bubbles. Even if style is different, yes, each style is different, but they all are within the same realm. So I agree with that. Manga being a little bit different, black and white, front to back. Manhwas being colored, Korean mangas, reading it as a normal book, and then basically comics, different bubbles. Yes, everything is within the same realm, but they also have their different twists with the characters. I think that's what makes them unique and amazing. I never understood the hyper appeals of running Cowboy Bebop. I thought it was a dull show I couldn't get into. See, I'm not the only one. I thought Cowboy Bebop had some great moments, but I do think at certain points in time that Cowboy Bebop is a little dull. Agreeing with this comment, I do agree with it and think that sometimes it is a little dull. It can happen. It's just every show, no show is perfect or anything like that. But yeah, it's just has some points where like the highs are amazing, but the lows are just kind of eh. Sailor Moon Crystal was a huge disappointment to me and none of the charm or the humor of the original series. Yeah, it's hard to even try to replicate those series, especially with Sailor Moon. I was stuck with Sailor Moon and just wrote it out with the original series and just left it at that. Any follow-up series coming with shows, it doesn't even have to be Sailor Moon, just anything else. It's hard to replicate that and bring it to real life. I don't think that's possible. I think you just leave it for what it is and just call it a day, if I'm being honest. And I think that's what they should have just done. Or it's a lot to expect out of those shows when something is created out of expense and created out of, what is the word? At the time, you don't know what that person is going through when they create that. It's hard to replicate that and add it to make you fall in love with what it was the very first time. So that's a very hard thing. Let's see. There's a Bebop manga, but it was anime first. This manga is somewhat of an add-on and adjustment, either skills of his own. Not really sure what that one is talking about. Let's see if we can find something else. Let's go to page 2. Okay. So that was very short. I feel like I've talked about this one before. If I have, maybe my ideas and everything have changed. I'll be back to you in just a second with another one. unpopular anime beans you have. Firstly, Eric here possibly has the best opening of 2000 and should have gotten another season because the manga is awesome. Also, the hype around the ending of Attack on Titan was not deserved. It wasn't good. It made us wait like 10 years for us to get the ending, and it was just. Also, sports animes are possibly. Also, sports animes are probably. All sports animes are possibly one of the most genuine things when it comes to anime because you're getting a bunch of people who know nothing about sports to watch anime, but sport most of the time. So they're interesting, and some sports even are literally made up, yet they're good. Yeah, I can agree with that. Some sports anime really go into depth and make it amazing. It's like they spice up that sport and actually add elements to it that you never would have thought and make you look at a sport a different way. I know a lot of people that literally watch sports animes or read sports mangas and then got interested in that sport and played it. So I definitely can appreciate a good sports anime. They always are done good. Everybody has preferences and everything like that, and they're always done really well. So I do agree with that one. It says newer generation Western anime watchers relative neglect and non-factoring with sci-fi background plot twists, bigger tragedy. I mean sport. Okay, they're just rambling about whatever that is. Says Steins Gate's first season is not boring. Actually, it's very fun. I think I agree. Like I said, a lot of people don't wait for build up, and a lot of people just want to write something off right away if it doesn't come with hacking and slashing right away. So it really is just he say, she say type of thing. It just all depends on the person. If I'm being completely honest with you, Hunter x Hunter isn't a must watch. Understandable, yes. Hunter x Hunter starts off slow if you have the time and you're interested, just because of the impact that Phantom Troop has. I think it is worth a watch. They're not wrong though. You don't have to run to it, but I definitely do think that it is something that you should pick up and watch if you have the time for it. Hellsing Ultimate Abridged is better than the actual show. Don't get me wrong, I love the actual anime, but fun at watching their bridge. Yeah, the bridge is okay. The bridge is cool. I thought Naruto Dragon Ball Bridge is better than the Hellsinger version, but Hellsing is cool too. I can kind of see why they're saying that though. So I mean, I'll let that be their opinion. I'm not completely against that. It's cool. I never understood why people love Gurren Lagann so much. I guess the animation was pretty nice for the time. The time and protagonist was pretty good, but I just don't get how people say it's a 10 out of 10 masterpiece. I love it because it's very well crafted story with fantastic themes and characters. Simon's development is very done and is one of the most crucial characters of all time. It's also one of the rare shows that actually views humanity in a positive light. I've said this, yeah. I do believe that Gurren Lagann is a great show. Like, it's one of those shows that like I said, I stumbled across it and it was amazing to me. And I couldn't get enough of the actual show. I enjoyed the heck out of it. And you don't get that very often. You don't get it where a show really knocks your socks off. You don't get that often. You kind of just feel like starting a show, you know what you're going to get out of it. This, that, and the third. But no, not with Gurren Lagann. So I agree. Gore doesn't make a show good. I remember getting into anime and I need to know what it is. Got licensed and put out on the VHS where gory is fest with the nudity and also zero blood. I feel sort of cool as 10-year-old watching sort of thing because it was cartoons for adults or something. Now it feels a bit cringe. It's been in fashion and all the anime for a show that's mostly gore and shock value. I agree. And I think that's where we need to get away from. A lot of people feel like the show needs to be hacking / gore blood for it to be good. A show doesn't have to have that to be good. And I think people are just been spoiled with that aspect that they feel like a show needs to be good. There's a lot of shows out there that go development wise and actually tell a story that makes a lot of sense, that's actually good, that's gonna be running for a while. I've just grown out of that part where like watching a show for it to be just actual conflict and everything like that all the time, it's kind of whatever. So I do definitely agree. This ALT is heavily overrated. has gained immense popularity in the past few years, making companies aware of its worth and how cheap they can get the work done with good quality. Now, this might look like something fascinating, but deep inside, this affects the industry terribly, with companies exploiting animators worse than the Japan industry. Yes, I agree. I don't think that it's fair for them to be working people that hard. I feel like these people should be able to enjoy their life and be able to also get their work done. But they do realize that, oh, we can just bump this out, we can do this, that, and the third. But I think that also takes away from shows that actually good. I do think there is some shows that need to take a breather to actually slow itself down so that you can enjoy it within anticipation. Like I haven't seen Hell's Paradise come back just yet. Maybe it's back, but from what I know, I haven't seen Hell's Paradise come back just yet, and I think that that's good. Like, give it time to breathe, let things come, let things happen, let things go. Like, you don't need to just animate everything. Like, it got to a point to where a manga would come out 2 months later, it's getting animated. That's unheard of for a manga to be still getting printed and a show getting animated at the exact same time. That's not normal. You literally will wait a while before a show gets animated after the manga is maybe like 15, 16 volumes in, and then the show is getting animated. Like, man, the volume was coming out, like, the show was on volume 4 or 5, and then it's getting animated, and it's like, bro, what are we doing, man? Y'all moving too fast, way too fast. So I think I'm gonna stop it here. There's a lot of sorting through that I have to do. Some of these I feel like I've read before, so I'm gonna have to go through and edit this. I love doing these videos. It's just a lot of material that I want to make sure I'm not brushing up on the same thing. If it is, then I know I have a different idea and aspect that I look at it now. So thank you all for getting to the end of this video. This is just a fun little video I wanted to do. If you like these and you have some popular opinions that you want me to read of, or you want me to do some more of this, please like, comment, subscribe. All of that is appreciated. I am so thankful for every single one of you. But until then, it has been your man's comments. Does ASMR, and I will see y'all in the next video.